Hello and welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. There are a few bright spots in California's economic outlook. Tax revenues are coming in a little higher than expected, and the unemployment rate in the state is down just a little. Here now to talk more about that and other things is Assemblyman Paul Cook. Hello, thanks for being here.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Tell us a little bit about the economic outlook in California as you see it.
Well, at the end of last year, there were some figures that came in that were better than expected. People are trying to analyze it. One of the things that I look at is what is called the Legislative Analyst's Office. They're pretty good. And to be very candid with you, it's not as political or polarized as some of the other issues. And basically, the sales tax revenues were much higher than anticipated, and personal income tax revenues were much higher than. Now, it's just a small snapshot. It's not the whole projection. But, you know, based upon what happened the last 6 years, it's some good news. Maybe it's a trend. It might, hopefully, we might be finally coming out of that huge recession.
It seems that every year we're ultimately short on the money we need to cover all our costs, and the governor has some plans to raise some taxes. How do you see these factors affecting that?
Well, you know, a lot of us feel that you still have to put when we're in this recession, you got to put a check. Maybe that's a bad word, a check, in that we've been writing too many checks where we don't have the money. But you have to restrict the spending if you don't have the revenues coming in. And I think most people that do this in their daily lives, where they've had to cut back on some of the things that they wanted to do just because you don't have the money. So that's been my philosophy. The governor has an agenda. And we're going to disagree about where the money is going to go. I think we all agree that we got to do something about education, infrastructure, things of that nature. Public safety is very, very big. And right now it's the beginning of the year, and we're going to start wrangling about, well, where are our priorities, and are we actually going to put a stop to the spending until we get our financial house in order, until these revenues come in.
You also have some ideas, some legislative ideas on how to encourage business growth. Tell us about that.
Well, we kind of feel that there's a lot of regulations in California. And I challenge anybody to go through all the regulations and laws. And it's about the size of an LA phone book or maybe larger. And there are regulations there, and the lawyers in the crowd are not going to like this, but they're written by lawyers for other lawyers that can only be understood by specialized lawyers. Mm-hmm. Small businesses where you cannot afford a lawyer, my goal is to make it understandable, to get rid of a lot of these regulations that are meaningless, that are obsolete, that only involve reports. They're trying to hang on by their fingernails and get through. And instead of all this cumbersome bureaucratic nonsense, I want to make it easier. What are the rules? How do we behave? So I want to cut through some of that.
So specifically, what is the legislation you're proposing?
Well, part of it is particularly large bureaucracies that are not elected, that have these rules and everything. I'm trying to get them to explain it and to actually have audits to justify their existence, particularly in how it affects a lot of these smaller businesses. If you're a small business, you have to do this, 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 and this. And if you don't, I'm afraid that many of them don't even realize they're probably violating the law right now because it's so complex. And my job is to make it more open, more understandable, and at least so that if you're going to regulate it, at least make sure that the people that are being regulated understand it.
All right. Nice talking with you, Assemblyman Paul Cook. We'll check back in with you later in the session and see how things are going.
Okay, good.
And thank you for tuning in. Stay with us. More HLN coming up right after this.